Your boss just dropped a disrespectful comment in front of the whole team. Your face gets hot, your chest tightens. Every instinct you have is screaming at you to shrink down into your chair, or worse, to instantly defend yourself. Stop. The second you open your mouth to explain yourself, you lose. By rushing to justify your actions in real time, you are voluntarily handing over your leverage to the person who just attacked you. Niccolò Machiavelli understood a brutal reality about human dynamics. Power does not care about who is objectively right. Power responds entirely to who holds the frame. There is a psychological countermeasure to this kind of attack. It relies entirely on nonverbal cues, and it is so brutally effective it feels almost illegal to use in a corporate environment. By learning to deploy this specific silence, you guarantee that anyone who tests your boundaries instantly regrets their decision. Picture a standard weekly stand-up. You're sitting across from a toxic coworker who looks over and drops a passive-aggressive insult, carefully disguised as a light-hearted joke. Guess some of us have time to leave early, while the rest of us do the actual work. The room goes dead quiet. A weak response kicks in immediately. You stutter, you scramble for your timesheets, you tell the room you stayed late 3 times last week. Doing this proves to the entire room that a complete stranger can successfully hijack your nervous system. You've accepted the role of a defensive child, pleading your case in a courtroom that your attacker controls. If you want to win this psychological game, you cannot participate in their trial. You have to burn their courtroom to the ground. Here is the physical execution of the countermove. When the insult lands, you do not blink. You do not smile. You go perfectly still, hold unbroken, clinical eye contact, and count slowly to 3 in your head. 1, 2, 3. Usually, social interactions work like bouncing a ball against a wall. You throw a comment, you get a reaction back. But now, imagine throwing that ball into a pitch-black abyss. It just vanishes. This works because of a basic principle of behavioral science. The human mind hates a vacuum. We are wired to expect a return of energy. By becoming an absolute black hole for information, you force the aggressor's energy to vanish into nothing. Without that expected friction, their social footing completely destabilizes. Sitting in that deliberate, heavy silence causes a massive shift in the room's dynamic. The spotlight instantly drops off of you. Internally, the attacker is suddenly panicking. They threw a punch expecting you to block it or hit back, and instead they swung entirely through empty air. Watch what happens physically. They will nervously scramble to fill the silent void themselves. They'll start backpedaling, letting out a nervous laugh and assuring everyone it was just a joke. That nervous laugh is the absolute death rattle of their social dominance. The silence forces them to sit right in the middle of the ugliness of their own insult, while everyone watches. Right when they break the silence, you deliver the finishing blow: therapeutic indifference. You simply tilt your head, give them a mildly curious look, calmly ask, "Are you okay?" and go right back to your work. By precisely executing nothing at all, you turn the volume up on their bad behavior. The rest of the room now registers the attacker as desperate and completely out of line. Look at the position you now occupy. You seized total control of the room without raising your voice a single decibel or presenting a single logical argument. You framed yourself as the calm, rational adult and exposed them as the emotionally unstable child. Instinctively, the crowd will shift their allegiance to the person who maintained control under pressure. But keeping this dominance comes with a steep internal cost. You have to actively destroy your capacity to feel social shame and kill off your internal nice guy. Societal niceness is just a survival reflex programmed into us to avoid conflict. The void is a calculated, deliberate act of psychological warfare. Wielding this silence teaches the room that access to your emotional energy is a high-tier privilege, and their disrespect just permanently revoked it. You are no longer reacting to your environment. You have transitioned into the untouchable architect of your own reality. But there is a more dangerous level to this game. What happens when a predator realizes they can't beat you in public and pivots to sabotaging your career in the shadows, where silence does absolutely nothing? The mechanics of the void are strictly limited to what the algorithms allow me to discuss on a public platform. There are highly restricted strategies of influence that go far deeper. To bypass algorithmic suppression and access the raw, uncensored psychological defense tactics, you have to look behind the join button. Cross the threshold. Subscribe now to wake up. But if you are ready to master the unseen game of power, hit join and step into the architect level. I will see you in the shadows.